Hi folks, I'm Ian Baker, the product specialist with Camping World, and today it's my pleasure to talk about the all-new 2019 Airstream Nest. This is a great offshoot for Airstream because, as you know, they generally have the iconic aluminum bullets, but this is something a little bit different because this is actually a fiberglass molded unit. Now, while Airstream has played in fiberglass before, they've never had a full production fiberglass unit. They had the Wally B, but again, that was just kind of playing around, a little bit of experimentation. They have perfected the Nest, and it is now on the market. So let's take a look at some of the amenities. As you will see when we go through, you can still feel that very high-end Airstream quality because they use all quality components and a lot of the same manufacturing processes and beliefs when they build the Nest. So we'll start off right over here on the kitchen. What you'll see is the beautiful 3D laminate countertops right here. You have the recessed cooktop and also the sink top cover, allowing you to utilize this as prep space. When we lift that up, you will notice your two burners right there, the controls right in front with the spark ignition. And then over to the side here, if we remove the sink top cover, that'll reveal your stainless steel bowl here. It is the Steel Queen bowl. Excellent thick gauge on here. Folks, not all stainless steel bowls or sink bowls are built the same. A lot of them are a lot thinner, makes a really tinny sound. You can see that this one, it doesn't have that hollow sound. It's a nice thick gauge, very well built. You won't get a bunch of dents and stuff in the sink. The sink top cover itself is very heavy duty and is also perfect to be used for a cutting board here on the bottom side. I say the bottom, that way when you put this back on, you still have the beautiful top. You don't have a bunch of knife marks in there. And then right here, you have the pop-up power tower. You'll see you have your two standard outlets there, as well as dual USB ports right underneath. That way, if you need to plug in an extra appliance, you can do so. When you're done, you pop it right back down. It still has that nice streamlined Airstream look. Right over here on this side wall, you will notice a couple spice racks there, which again, I like they did that, made it a little cutout, so it's very convenient to access those. Now, all the cabinetry in here, folks, is light ply. There is no particle board in the Nest. That's something that's definitely important to note. The light ply is a very durable material. It's an Italian wood. And the great thing about it is that, again, because it's not the particle board, it doesn't have the moisture absorption qualities. It's also a lot lighter. So, when you're talking about a lightweight unit, you want to use some of the higher end, lighter materials. And that's exactly what Airstream has done. When you drop down below here, we'll take a look directly underneath the sink, and you will see, again, great storage there. So they did a good job providing you excellent storage. Slow close hinges on here as well. You can see those close nice and slow for you. That way they're not slamming if you are a little unlevel. And then right over here to this side, you have three full extension drawers. Again, you can see the beautiful build quality here in the cabinets. You have your silverware divider right there, your flatware. Another one right down below. And then the bottom one here actually swings open. Trash can is knocked over, but you have a little trash can right there, so great little storage space for that. If we take a look up top, you'll see you have storage right here. You do have a lock, so you can lock this. That way, again, things aren't flying open and flying out when you're going down the road. But when you are at your site, you can open them up just like that. Very easy to access. And then you can see all along the top here, you have additional storage there too. Instead of having the doors though, they went with the bungee strings, which are a great convenient way to be able to easily access those items. We take a look at the headliner here. This is a very automotive style headliner. Again, I like what they have done. It's a very nice cloth material that they have on here. And then behind that is what they have actually is Azdel composite panels. They have that here in the headliner as well as all along the front around all the windows. And again, Azdel is great because, very similar to your light ply. It is lightweight. Azdel will not absorb moisture at all. The composite just doesn't allow moisture in, which is great, especially when you're talking about around the windows and on the ceiling. That is definitely something you want. And plus, it's a green material. This is a completely green coach, folks. There aren't any formaldehydes or anything in here that's going to be soaking into the coach. So if you're one that has a lot of allergies or you just hate that smell in some of the RVs on a hot summer day, it's not something you have to worry about here in the Nest. You'll also see you have a skylight right here, which you can open this up, lets in a ton of natural light there, really helps brighten this space up. Now you'll notice that I have all the blinds closed, and that is simply because it just appears better on our camera, otherwise it kind of blacks things out. But folks, when you have all these shades open, this little camper lights right up and it feels nice and open and airy in here, which is what you want in a smaller camper. All these cloth blinds are hand sewn right in the factory. So again, all of them are handmade, not like it's just running through a big machine, and just showing that quality process that Airstream is putting into their units. Couple directional lights right here. You also have the magic light running all the way around. I'll demonstrate that a little bit later. It's an LED rope light. That's a pretty cool system too. This front shade you can see has a zipper right here in the center, so that way, again, it kind of holds everything together, blocks the light out. It's something that's simple, right? It's an easy fix, but again, most manufacturers wouldn't do that. They just have them bring them together, and you would have that big gap in the center, but not Airstream. So you unzip that, open it up, and as I mentioned, that lets in a lot of light. Plus, it shows that big, beautiful one-piece front, kind of automotive-style window, which when we go outside, you'll see is very cool. It kind of has, the inspiration for it was from ski goggles, and that's kind of what it looks like. So when we go out there, we'll take a look at that. You do have USB ports back here. You have dual USB ports on either side. So that's nice too. If you're sitting here and need to charge a cell phone or tablet, you can plug it in right there. The material I'm sitting on right here, this is the clutch blue interior. That is the color they have. This color was actually made for Airstream. The cool thing about this, folks, is this has a silver guard protection system on there. And what that essentially is, it's an antimicrobial. This is something that's commonly used in like nursing homes and hospitals because it has that antimicrobial effect, and so it helps beat back some of that bacteria. While it may not sound like a huge deal, the reason I like it is, a lot of times when I'm camping, I'm out at the campfire and it smells really bad. At least that's what my wife tells me. I love the smell. But we come in here, you lay down on the bed. This will help beat back some of that so it's not soaking up all that campfire smell. So again, I love what Airstream does. Everything they do, just the little things, are really what sets them apart from a lot of manufacturers. You have your table right here in the center. This is fully removable. All you have to do, there's a button right down here. You just push your foot right on that button. The table will spin right out. You can take it out there. It also has a couple leaves on here. So if you have more people that are coming, you can drop it down just like so. And then there's a metal bar underneath. And what you do is you take that metal bar, you slide it right underneath just like that, and you have the leaf here on both sides. That way you can have a few more people sit here comfortably and be able to enjoy meals together. If we take a look right here on the ceiling, right next to our cooktop, you have a Max Air fan here. Great thing about that, folks, is it does a great job of moving the air. If you open a couple windows, turn that on, it'll suck those smells out of here really quick and give you some great cross ventilation. You'll see right behind that, you have your AC unit, 13.5K BTU AC in here. So, in a camper this size, they call this one the 16U. It'll do a great job of making sure everything in here is nice and cool. We take a look here, you'll see that this is the same as the other side as far as the storage compartment. Works identically. Great extra storage right up top there, and again, you do have the lock. You just line both doors up and you put a little thumb screw in there. We drop down, big beautiful window right here. You'll see cable and satellite inlets, so if you do want to be able to watch some TV, that is where the incoming inputs will be. Down below that, you have a couple electrical outlets with 4 USB ports there. So, the Airstream knows that the modern camper takes a lot of electronics with them, and they're giving you a lot of different places to be able to charge those. Right here on the wall, we have the Sea Level 2 tank monitoring system. The thing I like about this, folks, is that this is a probeless system, and the reason that's an advantage to you is because that means that there's less chance to give you false readings because those probes aren't getting covered by toilet paper or corroding nearly as easily. So this system will last a lot longer. As far as tank size, you have a 24-gallon fresh tank. You will have a 30-gallon black and gray combined tank there. Right down underneath that, you will see you have the power awning on this coach. We'll see that when we go outside. You also have an LED light strip on there. The Dometic thermostat, this one will control your 13.5K AC as well as your 16K BTU furnace. So both of those are controlled by this simple touch thermostat here. And directly underneath that is the magic light control. You'll have a couple of these throughout. You can control the system right here, of course, power on and off. But more importantly, if we take a look in this drawer, I have my little iPad mini here. And you can do this on an iPhone. You can also do it on an Android device. I just happen to have my iPad. It's a little bit easier to see on camera here. So what you have when you load up the program, and the program is Magic Light V2. But what you'll see is you have a whole spectrum of colors you can pick here. So if we want it to be red, there we go. Now we have red. You want green lights, now we have green. So you can fully control the lights you want in here, which is pretty cool. You can also control the brightness. Now my camera doesn't care for this, but I certainly like it, especially, you know, if you have guests or something over. Just makes it a little bit easier for them to be able to walk around at night, and you don't have to have you know, blaring lights here. Also, you have a bunch of different options. If you go to functions, you can see, you know, you can do some gradual changes. The lights fade in and out. Just all sorts of different options here. So it is a very fun light system. You know, I think they did a great job with it. And I'm glad they included it just because, again, it gives you some more customization options and it really brightens the camper up. It allows a lot of light to be in a very small space. When we take a look right down below here, you see a couple more pull-out drawers. Again, excellent build quality, folks. Everything in here, as I mentioned, is screwed and glued. So, you know, residential grade cabinets that are in the Nest here. And great storage over here as well. Perfect spot for your pots and pans. Maybe throw some food in there as well. And then up top, you know, let's not forget, you still have the 3D laminate up here. And folks, this is awesome countertop space. Myself personally, I'd probably put my coffee maker here. I'm a big coffee drinker, can plug it in right there. But I love all this extra prep space that they allow here. Over to the side, you have your fridge freezer combo. 3.2 cubic foot. You'll notice you have a little freezer box right there. This one is a two-way fridge freezer. It runs off your 12 volt or 110 shore power. This one does not run off propane. So cool thing about that though is, you know, when we go up front, you'll see this one does come with 2 batteries, and that's a big part of that. It's 2 group 24 batteries. If you want to put in 6 volt batteries, there is enough space to be able to do that as well. So again, that way you will have more power to be able to run this off battery, or if you have shore power, obviously you are all set there. So you see you have your microwave right down here, easy to access. We'll open that guy up just like so. So it's not a huge microwave, but again, you probably don't need a ton. At least it gives you the option to be able to use it. Right down underneath that, you'll see a couple different things. One is the water heater. Folks, this is a 60,000 BTU on-demand water heater. The great thing about this is it will give you continuous hot water. So very easy to set with that panel right there. Next to that is your battery disconnect. This is a great thing to have too. That way when you're done using the coach, you can turn this off and that will kill all power to it so you don't have that trickle drain out of the battery. And directly underneath that, you have your fuses and breakers here. Your breakers will be for your 110. The fuses here are for your 12 volt power. We come up to the side, we'll open this up. A couple of quick things about the handles they use in here for both this closet as well as the bathroom. I really like the design because it's simple and elegant. It doesn't have like a big knob or anything for you to hit as you're walking by. So all you have to do is you just kind of push your finger in like so, and it allows you to open it up. Speaking of hitting things when you walk by, you'll see they have an aluminum strip here. You have a couple of those throughout on some of the corners. And I like that because it kind of brings in, you know, that Airstream feel, that aluminum look. Plus it helps protect those corners in some of the high traffic areas. Now when we come in here, you'll see you have the shelf up top. It is carpet lined, as are the bottom shelves. LED light here in the closet to help brighten things up so you can see at night. You have the hanging rod going across. Now one of the things, again, that I like Airstream does, it's some of those minor things sometimes. Normally, in most RVs, this is plastic. This one here in the Airstream is actually rubber coated. And the reason I like that is when you put your hangers in here, they kind of stick right where they're at. While the plastic ones are great because they have the ridges, if you start moving, they'll pop out because this plastic is kind of slippery, but not at all the case here. So great hanging rod right there. Cedar lined here in the back, of course, gives it that nice smell, the rich, beautiful look there. You'll see you have a holder here for your table leg. So again, if you do remove your table, you can set that there. And then again, additional storage underneath. You'll see the heat duct right below that. If we take a look at the very back, you have your beautiful style Airstream door. The thing I love about Airstream doors is the fact they just close so solid. Airstream compares them to a bank vault, and while it may not be quite that secure, folks, it is by far the best entry door in the market. They just are a very solid door, very well built. You have this beautiful window right here that when open, again, lets a ton of light into the back end of the coach here. And then you also have this screen. So that way, if the door is open, you want it to have, again, that cross ventilation, but you don't want a bunch of bugs coming in. Close that off, and that will allow the air in, just make you feel a little bit closer to nature. Right out here, you have a couple hooks. I think that's great placement. As soon as you walk in, you can hang your keys or whatever else right up in there. And then we step into the bathroom itself. Now, one of the things I do want to mention, folks, I'm 6 foot. As you can see, I have plenty of room here to the ceiling. That is not often the case. When you're talking, 16, 17 foot travel trailers, they tend to be small. The bathrooms are small. Even though this is a wet bath, I can freely turn in here, no problem, and I'm pretty wide in the shoulders. And as I just showed you, I have plenty of head height. You have the curtain here to close off, obviously, so that way your water stays right in. Toilet right here behind me, it is a foot flush lever toilet. When we put this down, you can see I do have, obviously, plenty of leg room here. There's also a sprayer in the back, so it does make things a little bit easier to clean there as well. Right over to the side, you'll notice we have 3 soap and shampoo dispensers. So the idea here, of course, is 1 for soap, 1 for conditioner, 1 for shampoo. Right in front of that, we'll open this up. You'll see a couple things here. This is a medicine cabinet with your built-in toilet paper holder. So the cool thing about this, if you've never seen these before, when you lift this up, it actually rolls the toilet paper forward. So that way the toilet paper kind of comes out for you. When you close it back down, it rolls the toilet paper back up so it's not trapped. So pretty cool system. And again, this is gasketed, so anything you put in here will stay nice and dry. So that way it is a fully functional medicine cabinet. Something a little less common to have in a bathroom is this right here, which is your window. As you will see, it is frosted, so it's not like people can see in. But you can open that up, which will give you some ventilation in here. And it'll also let in a nice breeze if it's a really hot summer day. You have the beautiful valve right up front here. Nice and easy to operate and very stylish. Coming up is your hand wand. You have the mount right here. Very modern looking hand wand too. I like what they've done. It's a lot sleeker than most. A lot of times you have like the big round head on here, but they're staying with, again, the very clean lines all throughout. Mirror right up front there. And then you'll notice you have a couple LED lights right up top because, people do shower at night. And then you also have the vent right here. So again, if you need to dry this out in a hurry, you can pop that up, turn it on, and it will help dry out your bathroom. Now that we've seen the inside, let's take a look at some of the outside features on the 2019 Nest. Folks, I have to apologize for the sound. We are right next to a highway, so it is a little loud, but just bear with me here, we'll get through her. So starting off right up front, you'll see this one does have your breakaway cable right here. That way you don't have a case of a runaway trailer. That will lock up the brakes on the trailer, making sure it comes to a halt. You have the manual tongue jack right here, and directly behind that, you have this beautiful front shroud. I think this is awesome to have on this camper. Your normal Airstreams have the aluminum cover, but because this is fiberglass, they went with the fiberglass cover, and I think they did a bang-up job here. So we'll open this up. The way these work is you just kind of, lift them up right here in the back, push these forward, and it comes off. That will allow this front shroud to swing open. And right back here, as I mentioned inside, those are your 2 Group 24 batteries there. If you notice how much height you have here, how much space, again, that is allowed to allow for 6 volts. So that way, if you want the bigger batteries, you want more amp hours, you are able to put that in there. Directly behind that, it's kind of tough to see, but you do have a propane quick connect right there. So you want to hook up some propane there, you can. That way you can have an outside grill. Right over here is your 20-pound propane tank. Again, that is comes standard on the unit. Cool thing about that, folks, is if you need to fill propane in a pinch, a lot of different places to fill propane are closed on a Sunday, but with the 20-pounder, you can take it and be able to exchange it out, so that way you're not stuck without propane. If we take a look at the front end here, as I mentioned, you will see that big front piece of glass, and again, you can see where the inspiration came from the ski goggles. You can see how it's kind of how it looks, which I think is pretty cool. And again, it kind of gives it that face look right here on the front. If we talk briefly about the construction, so as I mentioned, fully fiberglass unit, folks, high gloss, beautiful fiberglass that is used on here. The really cool thing about this is not your standard fiberglass construction. Most manufacturers, they will put in their studs every 16 inches, and most of the time that's aluminum, and then they will laminate that, and that lamination process is where they get the strength. But they don't have to do that on the Nest because this is a fully molded product. If you think about your $2 million high-end motorhomes, the roof on there is a molded fiberglass cap because they know it has superior strength. They know it is excellent construction. That's exactly what they do on the Nest. So what they do, there are 3 pieces here. You have this top piece, you have the bottom piece, and then you have the back piece. So they put all those together. They use an industrial adhesive to join them all together. And then they go back over and they fiberglass all the seams. They actually chemically bond all 3 pieces together, essentially creating a one-piece shell. So this is awesome, folks. You want to talk about helping any kind of leak penetration, any water penetration. This construction method right here is a fantastic way to do it. And again, you can feel and hear how solid this is. I mean, this doesn't move. Like if you go and push on most of your fiberglass units, you push on here, you'll have flex. That is not the case here. So again, very cool method they used. If we take a look here, you will notice the Carefree of Colorado awning. This is a power awning, as I showed you inside. This one is a horizontal arm awning. So when you open it up, it could just come straight out. There aren't any vertical arms. Well, I shouldn't say that. There are vertical arms, but you don't have to use them. It's mainly only in high wind conditions you want to set those up. Otherwise, it just pops right out for you. Frameless windows on here help again with that sleek appearance. You can also have these open while it's raining because the way they open. They tilt open, allowing air in, but not having a bunch of water come in. Plus your seals are tucked behind the glass here, which helps the longevity of those seals because they're not getting beat up as badly by the elements. We take a look right down here. That is your Suburban on-demand water heater I talked about when we were inside. That will be the exhaust vent. We drop down right here, open this guy up for you. What you do is you pull that up, you turn right here, and this will drop down, and you see you have some excellent storage in there. There is another one of those on the other side we'll take a look at in just a moment. You have 4 stabilizer jacks on here, 1 on each corner. That, of course, will help prevent the unit from rocking. If we take a look underneath here, you'll see a couple different things. You see your tanks? The tanks on here are in a separate galvanized container, and then they put forced heat into there. I only know of one other manufacturer that has a similar process to this, and it's a great process for helping to make sure those tanks aren't freezing up on you during the winter. You'll also see right here, this one is your fresh tank, so you'll notice your fresh tank fill is located right there. You have some of your low point drains right there. And if you take a look right behind that, you will see your spare tire down there, folks. The spare tire is a 16-inch tire, just like the rest, which is great. And it's a little bit tougher to get to, but Airstream does that for a reason on all their units, and it's to help equal out the load. So you'll notice where the tanks are, they're actually, kind of straddle the axle, and then they put the spare tire up front there. And again, it helps give you that great towability you've come to expect from the Airstream units. The tires on the Nest are Goodyear tires, and they're 235/80 R16, so they're big, thick tires. Helps raise it up off the ground a little bit to make sure you have clearance for your tanks underneath. You'll also see right back here, you have your power outlet, so if you're looking to plug anything in out here, you easily have the capability to do that. Right down here's another tank I was talking about, folks. So you can see the galvanized tank right there, and that will be your combination black-gray tank. As we come around to the back here, again, this is that rear piece I mentioned. So they have the top, the bottom, and then the rear piece, and all that comes together to make one solid piece. As far as insulation value, they do wrap a foil all the way around the bottom, which is very cool. Again, a lot of manufacturers aren't doing that, especially in this size travel trailer. That radiant foil has natural moisture wicking properties, helps keep the moisture out, and it also creates that insulation barrier, helping to keep it comfortable inside. You'll notice you have your LED porch light right up top, LED tail lights right here, as well as one in the center there. That beautiful Nest door, you can see the large window I talked about right here. One-piece aluminum hinges on there, so very strong, sturdy hinges when that unit opens up. You'll notice right over here, one of the other things that Airstream does very well is not just the construction of the door, but of the handles and locks themselves. So the cool thing about Airstream, folks, there is no master key, and the Nest is no exception. So if you want, something that's going to make you feel nice and secure, that should give you that added bit of security. You have the handrail right here, again, to help you enter and exit the coach. And then speaking of that, you will see the aluminum step. It is a single aluminum step on here. The cool thing about this though, folks, when I say aluminum step on most manufacturers, it's just the tread itself that's aluminum. But on Airstream, the entire bracket, everything here is aluminum, so nothing is going to rust, meaning that your step here will continue to function year after year. It's not going to rust. It's going to continue to be nice and easy to open. You also have the grip tape on there, again, to help you for traction in case it's wet like it is right now. You'll see your license plate spot right here. You also have a light to help light that up. This is actually for the door. So when you open the door up, what you do is you take this right back here, and then you will just insert that in place right in the back there, and that will hold your door open. So that way it is quite simple in order to use. Here on the off-door side, you will see this unit comes with a black tank flush. That's a great feature to have too. What that essentially does for you is instead of having to stick your hose down your toilet or a wand down your toilet to wash out your black tank, now you take the garden hose, put it right in there. There's sprayers built into the black tank, and it will wash everything out for you. I would recommend doing that for probably 10-15 minutes after you're done camping, folks. That'll just help get any solids or anything that are left in the black tank out. Right over to the side here, we pop this in. You will see your cable and satellite inlets. So if you want either of those, that is where they will enter the coach at. 30 amp detachable power cord is right there. And if we drop down below here, we'll see a couple different things. One is your storage spot for your sewer hose. So that way it's nice and convenient. You don't have to worry about any place to store it. It is by itself, not rolling around with everything else that you want to take with you. And right over to the side here, folks, this is your termination. Again, for both your black and gray tank, because it is a combined tank, you have the single valve right here. As far as dumping tanks, I do recommend waiting till it gets to about 3/4 tank before you do dump it. A lot of people make the mistake, especially first timers, of just leaving this valve open, when this is all hooked up. And while that's great because your gray washes right out, same thing happens to your black tank. The water washes out and then you have a bunch of solids left in the bottom. So I do recommend keeping that closed again until you're about, at least half, probably 3/4 tank, and then dumping it out. Making our way up a little bit further here, right here is your potable water fill. So if you're looking to fill your fresh water tanks, that is where you'll want to do it. Right next to that is city water. So this does have a pressure regulator built in. You don't have to worry about putting an extra one on there. That way, if there's high pressure coming in from the city, it's not damaging your components when entering the RV. This is your furnace outlet right over here. Outside shower next to that. You can see there is both hot and cold water access. And then if we drop down below right here, you will see, again, as I mentioned, there's another storage area there, just like on the other side. One last little tidbit on construction, folks. This, just like the rest of the Airstreams, does utilize the semi-monocoque construction, which if you're anything like me, you're wondering what in the world is that? And essentially it's a term that is used in the aircraft industry, and basically what it means is that the outer shell absorbs most of the impact when going down the road. And that's an important thing. That way all your cabinets aren't, rumbling off the walls. You don't have a bunch of dishes breaking inside. It's just an excellent engineering construction. Because this is essentially a one-piece shell and they marry that to the one-piece chassis, it makes, again, a very solid unit going down the road. They use 10 half-inch stainless steel bolts to mount those together, so that's not gonna rust, it's not gonna come out on you. Folks, if you're looking for a great lightweight travel trailer, the Airstream Nest is definitely one I recommend. If you're interested in this beautiful trailer and you'd like price and availability, simply click on the link in the description below. Thanks again for watching. I'm Ian Baker, and let's go camping.